Guys, I'm Shreyas Dey here. Today here I'm going to show you the part 2 of the built-in functions video. So before watching this video, I prefer you to watch the part 1 video if you have not seen it. So in the part 1 video we had discussed all this I have done in the part 1 video, everything what you can see. So I will continue with the part 2. So I will continue over here only. So in the part 2 we have help, eval, exec, float, format, frozen set, hex, id, input, int, is instance, iter, len, and list. Okay, so we have this much. Let's start with the help. So um, help is so for help is 1 minute. I'll just further write the definition of help. Actually it takes only a function. Okay, help, it takes only, I will just write this and then I will, okay, so I know you don't know the meaning of built-in. I will just write this and then I will show it to you. So this help function basically um, returns. So I will just type give you returns. So it basically uh, returns some information. It basically returns some information of the given built-in are like print is a built-in, input is a built-in, dir is a built-in. All the functions which we use now were a built-in. Okay, so there are not only functions. For example, uh, so there are not only functions that you can give anything about Python. If you don't know, obviously it should has to be some built-in print or something like that. Okay, not only functions, there are many more, but we're not discuss them now. So for example, I will just go here, I will just print help, and maybe I will ask the help for what is input. Okay, so I will just ask, maybe I will ask the help for, I will ask exec, because I will study about that. So it's better to forget. Okay, so so actually here we don't need to print it. We can directly write help exec. Okay, so then here you go. So help exec is actually a function. So here is the exec. So here is the meaning of the exec. Um, so I have an idea. So let me do one thing. Okay, leave it. Okay, so here is the help on built-in function exec. Okay, so built-in function exec in module built-in. So this built-in module basically contains all the built-in functions of Python. Most of them, not all the, most of the built-in functions of exec. So yes, so that exec we studied about that. Now we'll go to eval. Eval, it accepts a string containing a mathematical expression. A string containing, I'll explain to you, it evaluates the expression and returns it. Okay, and the full form of eval is evaluate. So I will just show it to you. Print eval. Here I can give express. For example, I will give something else, that something into something divided by something plus something. I'll just type nothing about. I'll just type it for now. I'll just plus something. 1 minute. I'll just show you, and I will then it. And So yeah. So you can see this is a mathematical expression, so it is contained in a string. Okay, it is contained in a string, so it will read the mathematical expression contained in the string, and then it will execute that. So if I give run, you see the value is printed. Okay, so the string contains a mathematical expression, and then it will evaluate that. Okay, so the eval also we have done eval. Okay, now we'll go to exec. Okay, exec is execute, and here it accepts a string con one minute. It accepts a string or a code object. Okay, let me tell you one thing. I have not copied from here. I wrote it on my own. Okay, so don't tell that I've copied from there. I'm not copied from there. So okay, 17. It executes the Python code. For example, we will do one thing. Okay, so let me do exec. I will do exec, and here print. So I will just, so here I will do help exec. So what it will do, so this whole thing, this print help, so no need of print, only one thing, one minute. So this whole thing help exec, which is actually Python code. I've stored it in a string, and then I have given it to execute. So if I do exec, then it will execute that. So you saw. So this again was printed. So I will not give exec this time. Let me give, maybe I will just give I will give ID maybe. Here you go. So we'll study about ID. Okay. So yeah, so help ID is a function. So help ID, I talked about help here. So this exec, so this, it just simply executed this code. Okay, it simply executed this Python code, and it executed this Python code. This Python code was stored in the form of a string. Okay, and you can also do, so this is an example of string, and you can, so, or a code object. Okay, so it accepts a string or a code object. So you can see this time I did not give it in the form of string, I just simply gave that, but I gave it in exec, so it executed that. So if I give it a code object, there is no difference between this and giving it normal. So I will just put it in string. It is mostly used for strings, but yes, you can do it a code object. Okay, you can do with a code. So you can just remove the string, and you can do with the code. Okay, so I will run it, and there you go. So after that, so I've done this, and after that I will take a float float so float, what it does, I will just copy, 1 minute. So it accepts iterable data types. So it accepts iterable data types. It converts the given data to float and returns it. So for example, I have a float, and inside that I have a list, maybe 4938, something like that, and here I have maybe a number with a point, and I will just change it to some word or something. So you can see. So 1 minute, there's a problem. What is this? String or a number? Okay, so I see it cannot convert it to beast. Okay, so actually okay, 1 minute, I will explain it to you. Oh, it's float. Thought it as tuple actually. Sorry. So it's actually float. So whatever. So it accepts a sorry, accepts or int or str. So it's Python code for string. So it basically converts it to float. If you give an integer, it adds 0.0 to it, but if you give it a float only, so it will just convert it, it will make it same only. So there is no point of this code actually, why to convert it to float again. So you can, if you do this, so if you remove this, this will happen. But if you do like this, then also it will. So you saw the string, from the string the number was extracted and it was converted to integer. So inside this I will give something like 54354 and I will do that. So you saw it was converted to string. There it is. So I'll explain it to you format. So format, okay, so it accepts all data types, actually not all. I will explain it to you how it functions because it's a little different, not hard of different. Replace the given this string data. Okay, now all data types and string. I will just explain to you. So I will give an example to you. So first let me type the code and then I will explain to you. For example, I will just type big type here maybe. Okay, so you will not understand this. First I will type and then I'll explain to you. Format and okay, so I'll explain to you the meaning of this. So it replaces the given places in the string with the given data. So here you can see 3 open and close curly brackets. So this bracket, so in this bracket this integer is kept, in this bracket this integer is kept, and in this bracket this is evaluated and this is kept here. So it will be 234 added to 563 equals 234 sorry added to 234 plus 5 equals 234 plus 563. So it just replaces the given data with it. Okay, so I will run it and I will show. So you saw 234 added to 563 equals 797. Just add full stop. So you can also do one thing. Okay, so I will do this and then I will explain to you again what is the meaning of this. So now this is, I gave it like bracket open 1 added to 0 equals 2. So this is the 0th value of this list or of this tuple, you can say. So of this tuple, the 0th value is 234. So the 0th value will goes to 234. First value goes to 560 in the second. So this is 0th index, first and second. So this will be 563 added to 234 equals 234 plus 563. So you saw that. So actually this is optional. If you don't give it, then it goes by the order of the brackets. So we'll just keep it So for your reference, okay, so format we have also done, and frozen set. So for example, frozen set. So frozen set, it accepts the set, converts it to frozen set, and it turns it. So what this is, so for example, print frozen set, okay, comma that. So if I run it this, okay, so I will show to you the meaning of this. So for example, what is, so for the example I will need to explain a little set. I need to explain it to you. So we'll just give, for example, I will just make a set, maybe a equals something, a number, and a decimal. Okay, so, and I will just give I will give a list inside this. Maybe you can do that also, just to show you that. Yes, it can give, you can give a set inside a set. So maybe I can give this, and we will do one more thing. We will just so I will just take the example. I will add this also. So this is actually, so I had used it in the part 1. Okay. So here I will just give this. So let's see what. So you okay. So it doesn't accept list. So it accepts. It doesn't accept list or dictionary. I think. No, it doesn't accept a set also. Okay, so it has to be like that. Yes. So the print. So I will tell it to print the A. Print A. Okay, so I'll run it. So use. Okay, 1 minute. One minute. Yes. So I'll run this again. So you saw it's. So remember the order now. Now see what will happen. So you saw the order got changed. Okay, so this 547 came here, DSF went last. So this has got basically, this got shuffled. If I add one more thing, now it will again shuffle. You see this. So you saw it just got shuffled. 547 came front, so it just gets shuffled. Now here you can add. Hang on a minute. So run it. Okay, so one minute. So 1 minute. Yes. So now I'll do one thing. Like there is append for list, there is add for set. So I just added the 287. Okay. So it got added now. Okay. So it got added. But if we convert it to a frozen set, then it can't be changed again. Okay, so now for example, we converted this to a frozen set. So I converted this to a frozen set, and then I printed the A. So it will exactly print the same thing only, but with the frozen set showing. So it's actually defined as a frozen set type. So now I cannot add it. So it's like frozen. But if it was set, I could add it. There's also a method to remove it. But if so after I made it frozen set, I cannot add. For example, let me add a dot add 324. So it will give me an error. Okay, frozen set object has no attribute add. That means it cannot add anything. The frozen set cannot add anything. Okay, so it's like this. So you can remember by this. So I have this. Now this the hex. Hex is, I will just tell you. So the full form of hex is hexadecimal. int, I think, and it converts it to hexadecimal and returns. So to print hex, I will just explain it to you. Wait a minute. Okay, if I want to let me see if it works or not. Does it float? Okay, so it does not. So hexadecimal is a format, like there is binary. So there are basically three famous formats you can see. There is binary, hexadecimal and octal. So these are mainly used for computer programming. Okay, but nowadays computer programmers don't need to learn it. But then also this function is there. It converts this given value to hexadecimal. So hexadecimal contains, so like in the, so hexadecimal, okay, so I will just give an introduction to you to hexadecimal. You can see. So first let's talk about the normal what we use every day from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is the decimal number system which we use every day, which has a base 10, which means there is only till 10. The first values are only till 10. For example, 0 to 9. These are the numbers. Okay, then after that we just change the order of the numbers. For example, 9, and after that there's 10 comes. So in the 10 we use 1 and 0. Okay, so there are 10 bases you can see, or something like that you can see in decimal. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and there is one more octal. There it is 8. It is still 0, 1. So it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is octal 8, and there is one more called hexadecimal, which means that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. So sorry, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A, B, C, D, E, F. Yes, till that much. It contains A, B, C, D, F also because it holds 16. The base is 16, and the binary, you know about that, I think so, because that contains 0 and 1, so its base is only 2. Okay, so hex was done. ID, I will do ID. So here I will print ID. I will just, okay, one minute. First I will print the, so ID, the full form is identity, and accepts all data types, and here returns the identity. So return the identity of the given data. Okay, so for example, I will just say an example, print ID. So it basically it prints the ID. So 34, this 34 number cannot, yeah, so so what is an ID? An ID is, you can say, for example, let's take an example. In a classroom, for example, in a school or in a college, in a classroom of a school or college, all the students have a roll number. For example, Rohan has roll number 1, Mohan has 2, Sohan has 3, and so on. Okay, so that roll number is only of that student in the class. I'm not talking about the whole school, obviously, but in the class. Okay, so that is not of uh, any other person. Okay, so like that only, this 34 ID, his ID or roll number is, you can say roll number is 1898480 Okay, uh, okay, so so in Python, the ID is that the ID and another object doesn't have the same ID. For example, 34 will have a different ID, 36 will have a different ID. A string with the name, for example, Shreyas, will have a different ID. Each and every object in Python has an ID. Okay, so for print ID Shreyas, the Shreyas's ID is this. So if I print ID of hex, Let's see what will happen. The idea of hex. So like that, each and everything, everything in the Python has an ID. To get that, even this ID function has an ID. That function of the ID function is this. Okay, so like that. Even so, for example, let's take frozen set. Even this is an ID. You know what? Yes. So if I take maybe YouTube. Okay, this is an ID. So this ID is only of YouTube, the string containing YouTube. If you change it to YouTube, this one, it will change. Okay, so I hope you understood the ID concept. Okay, so ID now. So next is input. So input, I'll just, so it takes only string. So I'll just explain it to you about the string and all the things, how it takes string out. What is input and string? It's not important. So here it is. So for example, I will give print maybe input. Here I will print input. I'll just give. I will ask it anything. Enter something. Okay. So here I will give just enter something. Okay. Will run. So it is asking me for entering something. I will just give something. Okay. Then for maybe I will just give. I will just give it subscribe. Something like that. Subscribe, and yes, here you enter something. I gave subscribe. So print input. So this takes input from the user and then we print it. Okay. So this is very easy. So why I told str, because this subscribe, this input is taken and it is stored in str. Okay. So next, so we have done input also. Now we'll go to int. So sure, I will go to int. So what it takes all. So I will just write it, then I will explain it to you. All data types which can be converted to int. There are many. So it converts the given data to integer and returns it. Okay. So print int. Maybe I'll just, for example, no need of this. I'll just get 6.0. Okay, so what this done, it accepts all data types which can be converted to int. For example, there is float, there is string. Okay, so these are some of the data types which can be converted in. Of course there are more. Okay, so there are many, so that's why I've not specified, I've just given it all data types which can be converted to int. Okay, so it converts the given data to integer. So this is a float as it contains 0.00. Now if it convert to integer, it becomes like this. So if I, for example, it has a point. Okay, in float it will just remove the point. So 3457.3565, just removed it. I give 337.3565. It just simply just removed it. So this is and example of float. And if I give a string which contains a number, for example 345, it will just convert it to string. It will just convert it to int. Sorry, it will convert it to integer and then it will return. This is actually integer, not a string. Okay, so we can also do one thing. We can take input from the user and convert it to string using this only. So for example, I will ask maybe enter a number. Okay, so I will run it. And asking it will ask you the number. I will give something 325 and just printed that. It's an input format. Okay, so I'll just here I'll just give something, some number 25 maybe, and 36. There you go. So after int also done. So is instance. So we'll explain that to you. So this is instance. It takes all data types. So I will just explain it to you. So I will explain it to you. I will give print is instance. I will give first true. So what this does, this is instance accepts two parameters. The first parameter is the data which the is instance needs to check, and and then the next parameter is the type. So this is an str. So it will check if this is equal to this the given type. So I've given this str type which is string. So it checks if this is string. So it returns true. But if it is not string, for example, I gave a number which is an int, it returns false. Let me try with float, and it returns false. Okay. So so here you can try with many things. Here if I will give a list maybe, so list. So here I will give point something. Here you go, and I will give it your list, and I'll run it. So it will get me true. So is instance also done, and so do this iter. So for this iter, okay, I'll just explain to you. So what it accepts, it accepts only this. Okay, so what to do, converts. So I will explain to you. You may see it is already iterable then by 1 minute. Okay. So now you will ask me that it is already this list set, it is already iterable, then why it will again convert it to iterable out? Okay, I will explain it to you. Okay. So with the iter there is one more. Okay. So first I will do one more thing. With the iter there is one more function. I don't think it is here. Okay, it is here. Okay, so I will explain these two functions, iter and next. Both I will explain it together. So both will be done. So it will be easy. Right. Moment I have iter object. Let iter object. Here it is. The data. So what these two do, okay, so this iterable data type, it converts it to iterable. So with if it is converted to iterable, okay, if it is converted to iterable, we can directly iterate it by using the next. For example, meaning if it is list or set or one of these, then we need a for loop. We need a for loop to iterate on it. Okay, so for example, if there is a list, then if we want to iterate over it and just print all the values one by one in a line in that, so we need a for loop. But if you don't want a for loop, you can just convert it to an iterable object and then you can use next function. So I will just give an example to you. So maybe I will give here a equals, I will just give a name, maybe something like this. Okay, so here I will give a yes, so I've already changed the one. Delete this because two extra sheets are actually long. To change the order, so I just planned that after iter I will do next and I will do the things of the list afterwards, because that is totally, you can see, a new part or a new concept. It's better to be at list. So these are actually lists. So first I will do, in the next part I will do list, but now still this part, the odd, is remaining. Okay, so we will do that now. So what this odd basically does, it just takes any parameter and then it, okay, I will just write it here. Odd, so it's odd data hyphen converts given data to Unicode and this turns it and returns it. Okay, so I will start with it. So what it does, it takes, well, I will print this also. Okay, so print odd the, I will, 1 minute, I will just go here, 1 minute. Okay, so I just copy this. Okay, yes, so sorry for that, but okay, I'll just run it and then it runs. Okay, okay, let's try it. Okay, so what this odd does, it returns the Unicode value of the given object. Okay, so it is basically the opposite of the chr function which we learned it in the previous part. So it basically the opposite of that only. So what this is, so it returns the Unicode character of this with the odd function. And in the last part we had learned about chr, so I will just take here with the yes. So what this chr, it just does the opposite. So we give the 836 for the Unicode and then it converted to its character. It converts the Unicode to string, and here it basically converts the string to Unicode. I think it takes number also, I think, but okay, it takes only string. Okay, so even I am learning a little with you. So there you go. EY, so yeah. Okay. Okay, so it takes a length of only one. I just wanted to show you. I knew this. Like, okay, I just copy one. I'll just print something random. Z. The Unicode character Z. That's 122. Good. I print. Oh, let's see. You can just experiment with this. So yeah. So now we have done odd also. Now I will So it's now my time to say thank. Okay. So now I just wanted to tell Python to tell you thank you, but I'll say Python to say it for you. Every time only I say it this time. Python. Oh no, Python. Okay, thank you for watching. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope you liked my video. So please like, share and subscribe and give a good comment to all my videos. Okay, so thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.